The Little Boy Who Stared at the Restaurant. What happened next will break your heart. A young boy was standing in front of a fancy restaurant. He was very poor, and all he had was an old tattered jacket and a pair of shoes that were too big for him. He would stare longingly through the window at all the other kids eating and drinking, wishing that he could join them. But sadly, he knew that he couldn't. The man asked him, "Do you really need this job?" The boy nodded his head. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a crisp $20 bill. He walked inside and saw all the kids staring at him. He felt shy, but he tried his best to ignore them and sat down at a table. A waiter came over and asked him what he wanted to eat. "I'm sorry," said the boy, "but I don't have any money." The waiter smiled and said, "Don't worry, your bill has already been paid." The boy was shocked. He couldn't believe that someone would pay for his food. He handed it to the boy and said, "Here, buy yourself some food." Then he noticed a note on the table that said, "This meal is on me. Enjoy it, champ." "Excuse me," called the boy. "Mister, wait." The man turned around and smiled. "Did you enjoy your lunch?" "Yes, sir," said the boy. "Thank you for paying for my food." The man was surprised. He had no idea that the boy had seen him. "Oh, it's no problem, son. I was just trying to help you out." "But why?" asked the boy. "I don't know," said the man. "I just saw you sitting there all alone, and I felt sorry for you." The boy was deeply moved by the man's kindness. He knew that he would never forget him. The boy's eyes widened in surprise. He looked at the waiter and asked, "Who was this man?" The waiter shook his head and said, "I don't know. All I know is that he is a regular customer and he always pays his bill in advance." The boy was deeply touched by the man's generosity. He finished his meal quickly and ran to the door. He wanted to find the man and thank him in person, but he had no idea where to start looking. The boy was stunned. He couldn't believe that someone was actually paying attention to him. His mom had told him that if he didn't sell any tickets, then they wouldn't have any money for food that night. The man smiled and said, "You need this more than I do. Now go buy yourself some food and enjoy your day." The boy took the money and ran as fast as he could towards the restaurant. He could hear the man calling out to him, "Hey, little boy, I haven't given you your change." But he couldn't hear anything else because his heart was already filled with joy. So he had to keep trying. The boy was only 8 years old, but he had to work as a street vendor selling lottery tickets to help his mom pay the bills. He felt like giving up, but then he thought about his mom and how she always told him that he was a good boy and that he shouldn't give up. So he took a deep breath and started calling out to the people passing by, "Buy a lottery ticket, please. Only $2, please." Every day he would stand for hours on end in front of the restaurant trying to sell a ticket so that he could earn a few cents. Every day when lunchtime came around, the boy would get hungry and the smell of the delicious food being served inside the restaurant would make him even hungrier. As the hours passed, the boy started to get really sad. Suddenly, a man in a nice suit stopped and looked at the boy. He looked up at the man and asked, "Are you sure? I don't want to take your money." Finally, after what felt like forever, the boy reached the door and pushed it open. He looked around to see who it was, but he couldn't see anyone. As he stepped outside, he saw the same man walking away.